And we'll turn to Senator Durbin,
Thanks, Mr.
who's
Chairman.
also the chair of the Senate Judiciary Committee and is deeply involved in these issues.
Thanks, Mr. Chairman. Attorney General, you've identified the dilemma of democracy, where we state unequivocally you can believe what you care to believe. That's your right in this country, this free country. But when you take action in pursuance of your beliefs, then we have to take a critical eye toward that action to determine whether or not it has broken the law and endangers the rights of others. During the January 6th insurrection, New York Police Department Officer Thomas Webster has been charged with assaulting a D.C. Metropolitan Police Department officer during the attack. Body camera footage shows Webster attacking the Metropolitan Police Department officer with a metal flagpole, tackling him and trying to rip off his face shield and gas mask. This raises a question which is painful to consider, but we have to consider, and that is whether or not in the ranks of law enforcement, either at the federal level or state and local level, there are those who would use their political beliefs in a manner which is inconsistent with your earlier statement. What are your thoughts about how we can deal with this?
Well, you put your finger on the most difficult problem we have, which is balancing First Amendment, free association, free speech rights with protection of our communities against criminal acts. Within the Justice Department itself, we are beginning our own review of our procedures. Over the last couple of weeks, we've been discussing how to go about this. The Deputy Attorney General has met with the heads of all of our law enforcement agencies to determine how we can carefully vet our own employees. Again, always being mindful of First Amendment and free associational rights, but at the same time being careful that we don't have people in our ranks who would commit criminal acts or who are not able to carry on their duties. So that's one set of things, looking within ourselves. And the second are we have with respect to our joint terrorism task forces, we have a vetting procedure like we have for our own agents with respect to careful backgrounds. But with respect to law enforcement of the local and state level, this would require using some of our grant money for the purpose of incentivizing anti-domestic violent extremist training, people, so that law enforcement is aware of what to look for and of how to go about the kind of training necessary to make sure that people who are involved in it are excluded from the ranks.
Thank you. Secretary Mayorkas, Senator Shelby raised a question earlier about 19,000 people who were caught and released by your agency at the southern border. And I want to give you a chance to respond to that. And would you also comment on the chart that says there are thousands of migrant children in U.S. custody, so that the record can be clear as to whether that is accurate?
Thank you, Senator Durbin. As I mentioned earlier, our priority is to secure the border. In a time of pandemic, we are employing the Department of Health and Human Services, specifically the Center for Disease Control's Title 42 authority, to expel families and single adults. We made a decision because the President and this administration is dedicated not only to a safe and orderly immigration system, but one that is humane as well, to not expel children. Families who are not able to be expelled are placed in immigration proceedings pursuant to the law.
Does that mean they have a court date?
That is indeed the case. They do have a court date, and if they are not able, we are not able to identify a court date at the time that they are apprehended in a Customs and Border Protection facility, a Border Patrol station. They are issued a notice to appear at an Immigration and Customs Enforcement facility. With respect to the photograph that I have trouble seeing, but I do, I can discern what it is. We have focused our efforts on ensuring that children are moved as quickly as possible from a Border Patrol station to the shelter and care of the Department of Health and Human Services. I have repeatedly stated that a Border Patrol station is no place for a child. We have made dramatic improvement in the movement of those unaccompanied children to the Department of Health and Human Services. We've reduced the time in Border Patrol custody from a height of 133 hours on average on March 28th to an average below 30 hours as I sit here and testify today. And those facilities are far better than a Border Patrol station, and we are likewise reducing the time that a child spends in an HHS facility so that we can unite that child with a parent, legal guardian, or family relative qualified sponsor here in the United States.
But you do not forcibly remove children from their families, do you?
We absolutely do not
And-
continue the cruel and extraordinarily inhumane policy of the past.
And you do make every effort to establish a reunification possibility.
We are dedicated to that. We are very proud of the fact that we reunited 4 families last week, and I want to acknowledge that that is only the beginning, Senator.
Thank you.